Today we're going to share a heartbreaking true crime story about a family where two members died, initially thought to be due to illness. However, as they say, doctors are like gods. In this story, if doctors hadn't taken the situation seriously, the family would never have found justice. This is a story of a murder that confused not only the police, but also the doctors. The story is about Kamal Kant Shah, who lived in Santa Cruz, Mumbai. Kamal Kant had a happy and prosperous life with his wife, Kajal, and their two children. In August 2022, Kamal Kant suddenly fell ill. He had stomach pain and was vomiting continuously. He immediately contacted his family doctor, who prescribed some medicine and advised him to eat light food for a few days. Kamal Kant followed the advice and took the medicines, which made him feel better for a day or two, but then the vomiting and stomach pain started again. The medicines didn't seem to help much, and around 10 days passed like this. On the night of August 22nd, at around 12:30 a.m., Kamal Kant Shah experienced severe stomach pain. His wife, Kajal, became very worried and immediately took him to the famous Mumbai hospital in Mumbai. Kamal Kant was admitted, and medical tests began. Based on the reports, the doctor started his treatment. Time was passing, but there was no improvement in Kamal Kant's condition. His organs were failing, one after another. Despite the doctor's efforts, they ultimately failed to save him. On the night of September 19th, 2022, Kamal Kant Shah passed away due to multiple organ failure. At the age of just 46, Kamal Kant suddenly left this world. His wife Kajal cried so much that the entire hospital was in turmoil. Close relatives and friends, including Kamal Kant's sisters Kavita, Smita, and Nehal, and his close friend Hitesh Sen, immediately reached the hospital. Amidst the chaos, there was crying, consoling, and preparing to take the body home for the funeral. A lot of time had already passed at the hospital. Finally, Kajal and other relatives asked for Kamal Kant's body. However, this is where everything changed. A junior doctor said, "Sorry, we cannot hand over Kamal Kant's body to you, because our senior doctor has many suspicions about his death and has informed the police." Everyone was shocked and confused, not understanding what was happening. What was the doctor suspicious about, and why had he called the police? During Kamal Kant's treatment, numerous tests were conducted, including a blood test. A senior doctor reviewed these reports and found that the metal levels in Kamal Kant's body were abnormally high. Specifically, the arsenic level was 400 times higher than normal, and the thallium level was 365 times higher. According to medical science, if arsenic and thallium levels in a body are significantly higher than normal, they act as poisons. The fact that these levels were so high in Kamal Kant's body led the senior doctor to suspect foul play. These high levels do not increase on their own. They would only rise if these toxic substances were administered externally. Seeing the excessive amounts of these chemicals in Kamal Kant's body, the senior doctor suspected that someone had intentionally poisoned him. Therefore, immediately after Kamal Kant's death, the doctor informed the Azad Maidan police. The police arrived and started their investigation. The doctors shared their opinion, expressing suspicion that these chemicals were given to Kamal Kant orally, and that someone had tried to kill him in a mysterious way. That means it was a silent murder. After that, the police interrogated his wife Kajal, his sisters Kavita, Smita, and Nehal, and other relatives and friends. However, they didn't find anything substantial. Although, from the behavior, expressions, and body language of some of them, it seemed like they were hiding something. The police did not want to act solely based on suspicion and wanted to understand the entire case before interrogating anyone. They conducted a post-mortem and handed over the body to the family for the last rites. Meanwhile, the investigation continued with full vigor. Seeing the seriousness of the case, it was handed over to the crime branch. The crime branch approached the investigation with a meticulous and thoughtful strategy. They began by consulting with the senior doctor from Mumbai Hospital, posing a critical question about the case. The officers inquired whether it was possible for Kamalkant Shah to have ingested more than 400 times the normal amount of arsenic and 365 times the normal amount of thallium all at once. The doctor clarified that such high doses couldn't be administered in a single instance. Instead, these chemicals must have been given gradually over 2 to 4 months or even longer, through food, water, or other means. Only such a prolonged exposure could lead to the exceptionally high levels found in Kamalkant's body. The officers raised a pertinent concern. If these chemicals are introduced into food or water, wouldn't someone notice a change in taste or appearance? And where could an ordinary person even acquire them? In response, the doctor explained, arsenic and thallium are such chemicals that, if mixed with food or water, do not change the color or taste. You wouldn't even know that these deadly chemicals are in your food or water, and they are causing your organs to fail. Moreover, these chemicals are banned in our country, so ordinary people cannot buy them. However, they can be obtained for certain business purposes by submitting a written application under specific conditions. The doctor's words raised many questions for the crime branch officers, and these questions guided their investigation. If Kamalkant Shah was given arsenic and thallium orally, then who administered these chemicals? They couldn't have been given all at once, so who orchestrated this plot over such a long period and why? And most importantly, if ordinary people cannot buy these chemicals, how did the person who played this deadly game with Kamalkant Shah get them? The officers began their investigation in this direction, starting with the family. The first to be interrogated were Kamalkant's sisters, Kavita, Smita, and Nahal. During this initial questioning, his sisters revealed something that made it almost certain that Kamalkant Shah had been murdered. The investigation gave the officers a new direction. The sisters' statements raised suspicions and provided several reasons for concern. So, who was the mastermind behind this heinous act? Who mixed these deadly chemicals and injected them into Kamalkant Shah's body without raising any suspicion? How did this cunning person manage to carry out the murder so covertly? Before continuing this gripping story, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, make sure to subscribe, and please complete 1,000 likes in this video. Kavita, Kamalkant's sister, stated firmly that it was murder and they suspected their sister-in-law. The police inquired calmly why she believed that. Kavita responded that it was because of her sister-in-law's questionable character, as she was having an affair with Kamalkant's friend Hitesh Jain. The police then pressed further, asking how an affair related to the murder. Kavita said that she didn't know, but her brother was completely healthy. He didn't have a single ailment, yet suddenly his organs failed, leading to his death. This suddenness couldn't be accepted. Another thing, since their brother was admitted to the hospital, Kayal's behavior had been strange. Even in that situation, she was asking for property papers, policies, bank accounts, and lockers from their brother. They hurt her themselves. The police wanted to gather as much information as possible from Kavita. Kavita and her other sisters added that there's one more thing. 2 months ago, their mother, Sharda Devi, also died in a similar way. In July, she suddenly started vomiting and experiencing stomach pain, much like their brother. She was admitted to the hospital, underwent treatment, and unfortunately, she did not survive. And just like their brother, her organs also failed. These statements from the sisters gave the officers a clear direction for their investigation. Kavita said, "My mother was also completely healthy. She didn't have any ailment, not even in her nails. Now we have suspicions about her death too." After this shocking information, the police immediately called Kajal in for questioning, but they didn't find anything from her. Then the police checked the call details of Kajal and Hitesh Jain and found that they talked frequently, confirming the sisters' suspicions. The investigation began to move in this direction. The crime branch's computer experts checked Hitesh Jain's internet history from months before, and the whole case unraveled. Hitesh Jain had been searching for chemicals that could kill a person without raising suspicion. The pieces of the crime branch's investigation were falling into place. Hitesh Jain was quickly apprehended, and he confessed that he and Kamalkant's wife, Kajal, had planned everything together. Subsequently, Kajal was also apprehended. and both of them began revealing the whole truth to the police. Kajal was the daughter of a big industrialist in Surat. In 2012, she married Kamalkant Shah, who lived in Santa Cruz, Mumbai, and ran a garment business. They had 2 children, but over time, their relationship deteriorated, and Kajal left her in-laws' house in May 2021 to stay with her father. The reason for this was Hitesh Jain. Hitesh was Kamalkant's childhood friend, and they shared a close bond. Whenever Kamalkant and Kajal had a fight, Hitesh would step in to calm them down. However, Hitesh's intentions were not good. He took advantage of their disputes and betrayed Kamalkant behind his back. Kajal frequently called Hitesh to resolve her fights with Kamalkant, and she liked Hitesh's behavior. Taking advantage of this, Hitesh got her involved in an affair. As their illicit relationship progressed, the truth eventually came out, and Kamalkant and his sisters found out about the affair. This led to more fights, and Kajal left to stay with her parents. Kajal and Hitesh wanted to get married, but initially they thought of divorcing their respective partners. However, their plan changed when they realized that Kamalkant had significant property, which they wanted to acquire. So they decided to kill Kamalkant. Hitesh gathered information about arsenic and thallium chemicals from the internet. He learned that if these chemicals enter a person's body, their organs gradually fail, leading to death. Additionally, these chemicals are colorless and tasteless, making them easy to mix with food or water. The big question was how to obtain these chemicals, as they were banned in the country. Hitesh also found a solution for this. He researched which businesses could apply for these chemicals and collected all the necessary information. He then prepared fake business papers and obtained the chemicals by applying with these forged documents. Then the real game began, which included another death, that of Kamalkant's mother, Sharda Devi, meaning Kajal's mother-in-law. As long as the mother-in-law was alive, Kajal couldn't inherit the entire property and couldn't live with Hitesh. So, they decided to gradually poison both the mother and son with these lethal chemicals and execute the perfect silent murder. The whole conspiracy started with Kajal returning to her husband's house in June 2022 at the behest of her relatives. Now, husband Kamalkant, wife Kajal, their 2 children, and the mother-in-law lived together, and the silent murder game began. Upon her return, Kajal started mixing arsenic and thallium into the food, water, and milk of Sharda Devi and Kamalkant. A couple of months later, in July 2022, the poison started showing its effects. Sharda Devi experienced severe vomiting and stomach pain. Medical treatment didn't help, and she died in the hospital on August 13, 2023. Sharda Devi's body also had high levels of arsenic and thallium, but no one suspected anything, and her death was considered natural. Both Sharda Devi and Kamalkant were being poisoned simultaneously, but the mother-in-law's age made her succumb faster. With her death, Kajal's confidence grew, thinking Kamalkant would die the same way without anyone suspecting that it wasn't a natural death, but a silent murder. After her mother-in-law's death, Kajal increased the dose given to Kamalkant, which proved to be her biggest mistake. This led to Kamalkant's body having 400 times the normal amount of arsenic and 365 times the normal amount of thallium. The test reports caught this anomaly, leading the doctors to suspicion and uncovering the plot. Finally, the crime branch arrested Kajal and Hitesh for the 2 murders and initiated proceedings to ensure they received the maximum punishment. Although they were caught, 2 innocent lives were lost, and 2 children's lives were plunged into darkness, which can never be compensated. Now, we can only hope that the children's lives will improve. If you enjoyed this video, please help us reach 1,000 likes, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Also, check out our latest videos.